Hello.
Oh,
Well, I was going to say welcome back, but we have literally spent the best part of an hour nattering before we've even started because we haven't seen each other for probably 9 or 10 days because you've been off gallivanting on your most recent holiday.
my most recent, yes. It does sound like we live this we're just jet setters, but
No, this is school summer holiday life. You need to get the
Yeah.
holidays in. But welcome back, everybody, to another episode of We've Got This Maybe, the podcast. Woo!
I like how we find the same octave. I like that.
We're trying to get there. Not that I've got any dulcet tones on me.
Oh, shush, I've heard you on a karaoke mic.
Well, a couple of certain songs. So we've literally been nattering away, which has been really nice. And I think that is just a testament to what this podcast is about. Is you come in, you haven't seen your buddy for a couple of weeks, and it's just like,
Oh, yeah, we proper brain dumped. It was like, yes, and another thing, and this, and then that happened. So, yeah, and I think this is what we want the podcast to be, isn't it? That we're kind of like just catching up with everybody and, you know, what's going on in your world, and, you know, let us know.
Yeah.
But yeah, this week I think is a really good one. Well, let's put some context behind this. This has been one we've had in the bank for a while, and we're kind of like, we kept going, it's not ready yet. We don't want to do it yet. And I think we're ready now.
Yeah, it's quite a big topic, and I think there could be a lot of opinion either way on it. I know everyone's got their own personal views on, you know, okay, so the topic is like tweakments, treatments, self-care, you know, the things that you never thought you'd have done that you're now considering getting done, that investment you make into yourself. And I think it's controversial sometimes because everyone has a very personal view about, you know, aging gracefully or disgracefully, like one way or the other. So we thought this would be like an interesting one. So like, I know for me, but like for you, what's your like historical like back catalogue when it comes to, you know, procedures or tweakments, treatments, like your general like routine in terms of like glamming up yourself?
So that's very easy. And I think basically the nearest I've gone to any tweakment is dyeing my hair.
Okay.
So this is why I'm so interested in this conversation, because for, you know, I'm 44 now, and I don't think I've ever invested in my physical appearance, like, and I don't mean that like in a vanity way. I mean just like generally, you know, I think I've shared, you know, I'm not sure whether I've shared with the listeners and YouTubers and everybody who's watching before that I have a bit of a fear of going to hairdressers, and I have a little bit of a fear of going to like treatment centers and things like that. So like, you know, going to get your nails done or going to have a facial or anything like that. So I think that hasn't helped. But I genuinely have never felt motivated to go and have a tweakment. And obviously, you know, when we meet and you're kind of saying, oh, I'm going to this next week and I'm doing this and what have you, and I'm like going, oh, ooh, what's that? I've never heard of that word before. Like,
so is you not having it because you maybe just haven't felt that you need it, or is it something that you felt that you wanted but have had an apprehension to do?
Oh, good challenge. I would say a bit of both, probably, if I'm being totally honest with myself. I think, you know, because I did fashion at uni and I was surrounded by these, you know, gorgeous people who made such an effort, and they were, you know, really invested in their longevity of, you know, their physical being. Like, you know, they wanted to, you know, make sure they had the right products on their face, their hair, their body. So they were investing in their skin for when they're older. Whereas I literally was like dragging myself out of bed and be lucky if I'd changed out my pajama bottoms, you know, and everybody used to take the mick out of me. And I never was motivated physically to invest in myself. Okay. Whereas a lot of people were, and it never challenged me to do it either. So I was kind of, but then I guess because I do have a little bit of a fear going to these places, it probably did me going, I don't need to go.
So it was like, I don't know, like I remember when I was like in school and everyone started to have like that makeup removal like routine. Did you ever have that sort of thing, like where you were using cleanser, toner, moisturizer, all of that sort of stuff?
Oh, my poor mother. She bought me so much. She, we had everything from Nivea. I had a Clinique consultation, Karen's consultations.
Yeah, Clinique was what I was thinking about.
And all these things when I was younger, Lancome, all the, the counters when you go just around the counters.
Yeah.
And bless her, Mum used to take me to all these things, and I just was never motivated by it.
It was never into you.
No, it really wasn't. And I don't think it was something that sort of I valued. My mum was like, you'll regret it when you're older. My mum's skin is flawless. She's mid-70s and people don't believe that she's higher than 60.
Did she have a routine? Were you exposed to her sort of routine?
Lotions, potions galore.
Okay.
Everything that you could imagine, she had. And they were, they all smell amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was never something that I really...
So we've probably spoken about this before when we've talked about other things, but I definitely was influenced by like things that my mum done, and my mum really never was into tweakments or treatments. She was actually probably quite anti it when I was growing up, but she was very regimented with things like skincare routine. Like I vividly remember every day I would always see her take her makeup off, do all of that cleansing and things like that. So when I started wearing makeup, I'd come in drunk. I was trying to think of an appropriate word there. I'd come in drunk. Yeah, off a night out. Regardless of what time it was, I'd be taking my makeup off.
Oh, Erin, you are committed. I love it.
But it was just like ingrained within me.
That's lovely that you did that.
But I was never the sort of person that would be like, oh, sleep in my makeup, because it just wasn't. It wasn't something that I was used to.
Yeah.
But I was quite into having certain things done, but like non-invasive at the time. So I really bought into, the brands when they were trying to sell you something like this will, reduce cellulite, or this will be I don't know, glowy skin or something like that. So from quite a young age, I was into stuff like that.
So if you're saying from a young age, what age would you say you started kind of actively having the treatments and things?
So I remember probably for maybe like I don't know, maybe like a 17th or 18th birthday or Christmas, I got my brother to buy me some like Nivea anti-cellulite cream.
Really? And where do you think this influence came from? Was it magazines? Was it your friends? Because if you're saying your mum wasn't particularly...
Well, she wasn't into treatments, but I think she was into like solutions, like an easy solution, like a cream,
preservation,
like a magic cream, this will stop it. So nothing like an injectable or a procedure, but this cream will solve your problem. So when I was starting to feel more like insecure about certain things, like I felt like I had cellulite, I felt like I had this, I felt like I had that, I'd buy a cream to do it. And then I think one of the first things I ever had done for myself when I had been working and was earning a bit of money is I think I must have got it on Voucher or Groupon or something like that, reputable. I had thread vein removal in my legs.
What age was that?
Yeah. 18, 19, 20, something like that. 18, 19 actually, I would probably say.
So thread vein removal.
So when you have like purple veins in your legs.
Yeah.
So I just had a lot of them in my
And you were paranoid or something?
And I was really I'd never been comfortable with like my legs anyway. Like I was always had like really like mottled skin. I've got really bad circulation. Like it's just one of those things I had. So I always had like really prominent veins, always like some like discoloration, like those sort of things. And I had a lot of thread veins in like my thigh area. So I saw this thing for thread vein removal, and I went probably a few £100, and they essentially put a little needle in, they squirt something into it, and the vein just disappears. It like collapses the vein or something like that, right? Because a thread vein is a dead vein anyway, right? It's nothing, so it just takes it away. And so I had that a few times. And then I was really into things like lymphatic drainage, like anti-cellulite sort of treatment. So I'd go and like people would put like really cold things on you and like use sucker machines to like your lymphatic drainage system essentially. And I was, like late teens or early 20s when I was doing stuff like that.
And was this just you, or did your friends do it as well? Did you all do it together? Was it a social thing, or were you motivated individually, independently?
And I think I was probably like doing it more than other people, but I do remember me and a few friends both had, all of us, 2 or 3 of us had like these passes to go and use those vibration plates. Have you seen them before? So they were in our local sunbed shop when we would go on sunbeds. So you essentially stand on these plates and they vibrate like this, and it's apparently really good for like shifting body fat because it's just like exercise. So you're like vibing like that. And God, all of this memory's coming back now. When I was probably about 16 or 17, I had an ab toner.
Oh, wait, those like things that yeah,
I had one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was thinking about it now and having this conversation. This conversation is making me realize how many things I actually done without realizing it was a thing.
It was the thing.
Ab toner, vibration plate, thread vein removal, lymphatic drainage massage, all of this stuff.
So do you
pre-20.
think, so that's pre-20, so that's where you kind of started and you've evolved obviously since. Do you feel that you have the same drive as what you did then? Because obviously with your saying about you didn't like your legs.
Yeah.
Was that kind of fixed and you moved on? Or was it like, do you still have the same sort of motivations around why you do some of the treatments that you still have?
I think it's changed a little bit. I think where I probably feel more confident in myself in certain areas, or I have changed the way I like look in certain areas, or I've got fitter and healthier, or things like that, you sort of lose some of those problems. But aesthetically, I guess, like facially, your face is always there, and I things like teeth whitening. I had oh my God, Vix, I had an awful experience with teeth whitening.
No,
so I had
not where
I didn't lose my teeth or anything. So I went and got my teeth whitened at a dentist. I probably legit. This was after I'd had my teeth whitened in a shopping centre, and I was sitting in the middle of a shopping centre with this like gum shield in my mouth and this blue light on, and I've got this photo somewhere on my phone where I'm like, hello. Because who doesn't get their teeth whitened in a shopping centre? So after this, I went legitimately to a dentist, and they'd done a teeth whitening, and my teeth have never been so sensitive. I couldn't breathe because as the cold air hit my teeth, it felt like something.
Take all the veneer off the
God knows, but a side effect of teeth whitening is teeth sensitivity. But I couldn't even breathe through my nose. So then I had to go back to the dentist, and they had to put this, which was like this yellow paste all over my teeth, which was like desensitizer basically. So then I had to walk around with like yellow teeth. The things we do, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's
PTSD.
Yeah, but again, this is the whole thing about we were talking about it earlier, was there has to be a balance, because obviously there are people out there, we've all seen them on Botched and things like that.
Yeah.
There are people out there that go to the nth degree, and whether it's vanity or whether it is self-care, that's where kind of like, which one is it really? But I mean, from the sounds of it, you were driven to make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's sort of, it was more along those lines than a vanity thing. So one of the big things I want to ask you about is, and I don't know if we've mentioned it before, is that last year? Last year?
Yeah.
So you went for a boob job.
Yep.
And it was big because it was actually a non-surgical?
Yeah. So it was a non-invasive. So I was the first person in the UK to have this like non-invasive like breast enhancement ultimately. And I didn't go into it planning that that's what I was going to have. I had, you know, for many, many years being a teenager growing up, was always unhappy with how I looked in that department. I'd always considered procedure, but for me, that felt like it was too much at that point in my life. Like too invasive. I was too worried about what it would look like and any regret I may have. So I didn't pursue it at that point. At a point maybe just before we started considering having children, I'd looked to have it again, and I was told, now's not the greatest time, you know, have your babies, then see your body changes a lot during pregnancy. And you don't want to have something and then need to have something again, right? So I didn't pursue it then. 4 or 5 years go by, you know, between Freddie and then when Max was 3. And then I thought, do you know what? Like, I need to now do something for me. I personally felt that I looked worse than I did before I had the children.
Right, okay.
Because I, you know, I never had big boobs growing up, never had big boobs generally, got those amazing pregnancy boobs, post-birth boobs. And then once that goes, you're then left with not very much at all. So less than I had before. And we're talking about maybe I was like small B, that sort of size.
Okay.
But then nothing really, like no volume and all that sort of stuff. So I thought, you know, now's the time, you know, don't have to worry so much about the children. I need to invest in myself and I'll be happier. So I started to re-look into like breast procedures and reached out to a company that I had inquired with previously, and I started speaking to them. And the main thing that I kept saying was, I just want something that looks natural. My biggest fears are having something which doesn't look natural. And then they came back to me and said, well, there's this new procedure coming. It's called MIA, so like a minimally invasive augmentation, and there's no incision on your boobs at all.
Right, okay.
No general anaesthetic, you're awake, it takes 20 minutes, you're out same day.
Whoa. I mean, not that I have anything to compare it to, but still, that sounds pretty good to get a new set, you know, like it's...
Yeah, so when you think about like a normal sort of procedure, it's, you know, general anaesthetic, which is risk in itself.
Absolutely, yeah, that comes with tons of risk.
Yeah, loads of risk. You know, the scarring and all of the risks associated with having that sort of surgery, you know, cutting through the skin, the muscle, all the tissue, and then the recovery. And, you know, got kids, like it's hard. It's like an 8-week recovery after a breast boob job, like end to end, I guess, like 8 to 10, 12 weeks, something like that. So they came up with this non-invasive thing, and straight away it just answered all my questions. All of the concerns I had about having a procedure was answered with this new thing that was coming. So I remember speaking to Rory about it, and by this point he was already sort of on the same page of me and was agreeable. I say agreeable, like he wouldn't agree, but, you know, he was quite happy with me proceeding and having a traditional procedure done. And then his reservations for this new procedure was that nobody had it yet in this country. So it was new. But I'm a little bit rogue like that. I like to be a bit feral. And then I was a bit like, God, I can't wait to be like one of the first people to have it done. Like it's going to be new. So, you know, the procedure generally is a really small incision in your armpit.
Okay.
So it was a local anaesthetic and just a little bit of sedative, so you're a bit woozy, but I was awake for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Small incision just in the skin in your armpit, and then they use a balloon device to insert between like the skin and the muscle. They blow it up and it naturally like separates the tissues, so you're not cutting them. So none of my muscle has been cut. None of my like
Wow.
breast tissue has been cut. The only cut is in this, just the skin in my armpit. And then they like insert a regular implant, like the same sort of implant you'd get with any procedure. They use this like funnel machine thing, and they insert the implant in, and then they just stitch up the incision.
Gosh, that does sound a lot more simple than what
Yeah.
I would assume a traditional.
Yeah. And
procedure would be.
within a few days, I was pretty much back to
Wow.
normal stuff.
And in terms of sort of, when you were thinking of like, if I'm thinking of sort of like post kids and, you're thinking about, did you, and you're saying you wanted it to be natural, did you have a particular kind of size in? I mean, these are very maybe naive questions, but like, did you want a particular size, or did you just want them to look natural? Like, was there a game like goal?
No, not size really, because I think it's so variable size. Like one size on me and one size on you would look like totally different. Is I just wanted something that looked like it was me. I didn't ever want anybody to look at me and be like, she's had a boob job.
Yes, you don't want people to play the boob job game.
Yeah, and it's not like I wanted a procedure done because I wanted to go and flaunt myself out there and wear all this stuff. And actually, in the weirdest way, I probably wear more covering clothes. Like, look, today I'm wearing a high neck top, right? Mm-hmm. I would never have worn this sort of top before because I was straight up and down.
Right. So again, it would because that kind of top that you're wearing at the moment, that's quite it emphasizes the curves of the body. Whereas, like, if you're saying you're flat, it would make it more obvious that you were flat.
Exactly. And so it was more just a for me thing. And I always knew I was conscious about like my body, like in terms of like dressing in front of myself, dressing in front of like Rory, like doing like normal things. I was like pretty like protective of myself over it. Like I even remember with, like Rory and other boyfriends, I was one of those people that I would just never have my top off. Do you know what I mean? And and when you're like growing up and you're like exploring and you're like coming into like your I don't know, that stage of your life, I always felt like I was holding back because I just in my head was so conscious about it. And now like the difference in, I would say, like my own confidence, the way I dress myself, the way I like present myself, even just like how I dress and undress, how I come in and out the shower, like all of those things which nobody else would ever see, but it's for me.
Yeah. And I mean, I might be going TMI here, so I apologize if it is. But again, sort of one of the things that, again, my knowledge base is so bad because I'm literally taking it from like Botched or something, some TikTok clip somewhere. But again, like, the areolas and the nipples and the things like that didn't change because obviously, it was just natural. It was just someone kind of putting the implants in. So, I mean, everything's you. It's still you. Yeah. I'm doing that, but do you know what I mean?
The visuals here, guys.
It's the watermelon. But so we're a year kind of on.
Yeah.
Well, probably year and a bit now. No regrets, no questioning, no, I want to go bigger. There's nothing. You're quite happy where you are.
I'm quite happy. No regrets. I would genuinely say the best thing I've ever done, and it's more the fact that I go out, I do my day to day, and nobody would know.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like I just look like I've got boobs that suit my body. Yeah. It's not crazy big, they're not crazy small, they're not anything. I think the would you have gone bigger question is a big one, because I remember big because even Roy and I had this conversation at the time, and I think, I was like, I'm worried they'd be too big, and then it was a bit like, well, what if they're too small, like you don't want to regret it. And I probably could have gone a little bit bigger if I wanted to, but for me, I now just feel like I've just got like medium size boobs.
Are you content?
100%.
See, that's amazing. And that's where I think kind of you see all these things on the TV. And again, you know, it's probably an unfair, you know, exposure that I've had to these things. But like, there's always people who want bigger. There's always the next thing they've got planned. There's always the next thing they want tweaked, tucked, improved or whatever. But to me, it sounds like, you know, when you were talking about the other things that you were doing when you were younger, it still is something that's very much about your self-confidence.
Yeah, totally. And any procedure I've had done, whether it's been, you know, a cream for something or a skincare routine or Botox or whatever, it's only to look natural. Like, I've never wanted to look unnatural or like enhanced. It's just looking like a fresher version of myself. And I think, you know, even like with Botox, like I'm very particular about, you know, where I have like my Botox done and like the strength of it, because I don't want to get to a point where I like can't move my face, I don't have expression. It's just about giving me that freshness that I sometimes feel is taken away. And you know, as I was saying to you before, like Botox is a preventative treatment to a degree. Like if you can't make the wrinkle, then you're not going to have the wrinkle.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, so it's, you know, I think I would feel really bad if I went somewhere one day and somebody said to me, oh, have you had this done? Have you had that done? Because then I would feel like I failed in my pursuit of like just natural.
But that's nice, because I think you're obviously balancing it, because like you say, you want it to be part of you rather than being like a balloon version or a, you know, solid version or whatever. I mean, my terminology is smashing out the park today. I do apologize. This is not my area, I'm sure you can tell. But you know, I this is where I am very curious about this. I always sort of bug you about it, because to me it's fascinating, and I do genuinely feel like our friendship has kind of made me rethink my own journey. And you know, I think we were saying before, like I was kind of reflecting on this topic, and the fact that I never did anything, like literally my pillows would be black because of all the mascara smudge on the pillows. You know, I was one of them. I was so bad, so bad. And I really disrespected, I think, a lot of my, you know, physical appearance and so forth. And it has made me rethink, because, you know, when I think of all these treatments, beauty treatments, I think of all the big nails and the big lips and, you know, or what they're called, duck lips or fish lips or whatever. And all these things. And then, but I think you've shown me like a different side to it. It's like, you know, the fact that you're doing it for this self-confidence, and, you know, it's okay. It's okay to do that. You know, it's not just for vanity reasons. It's actually, it's something to do with your inner, you know, you're caring for yourself.
Is that trying to, or wanting to look like the best version of you, not a different version?
Yes. So it's not that you're unhappy with yourself. It's about just maybe confidence wise, just bringing your leveling yourself up to a, you know, a level that you feel confident in who you are and what you look like. And, you know, the mirror, you know, when we were talking a couple of episodes ago about you looking in the mirror, and you just mentioned there about coming out the shower, and, you know, because there is that body scan, you know, and you kind of like have a quick, not okay with that, or, oh yes, that's fine. You know, things like that. So I guess there's, you know, again, that self-care aspect of life, I think, is something that people either are really good at or they're not so good at.
Yeah. And like, for me, it's, I believe it or don't believe it. Like it's one of those things. And I know we're at the top when we said, oh, it can be a bit controversial, is because when I say everything I have had done is genuinely for me. And I know when people talk about having work done or treatments done, people always like to be like, you know, you're not doing it for you, you're doing it for everyone else. Right. And that's where the controversy comes in from it, because I genuinely am saying I'm not doing it for you. I'm not doing it for Rory. I'm not doing it for anybody else. I'm doing it for me, because I feel better about myself. And then if I feel better about myself, I'm able to give more to people.
Yeah. Well, that's it. If you and this is where, again, I think this is where being friends with you has really helped me kind of reflect, because I've literally been one of those people that I will, I haven't really dyed my hair, I haven't really done my nails, I haven't really done eyelash. I remember asking you about eyelashes and all these things, and I'm really curious now, which I've never been interested in before.
So what's on your hit list then? What are you thinking about doing? What are you wanting to do?
What am I wanting to do? So I don't think I'm at any kind of treatment level.
Okay.
But I certainly feel there is a change in the tides, and I think it comes from sort of talking to you about, like you say, about that investment in me, and particularly as you get, I'm 44 now, and there's part of me going, okay, you've literally, like, I've got away with washing my face in water every day. I've got a baby wipe and taken some of my smudge off. It's like that bad. And I was thinking, I'm not going to go as extreme as saying I've disrespected myself, but I think it's time that I need to kind of think about it. So, what I've been doing is I've been looking at supplements and things like that, and looking at like the nutritional side of like investing in my body, because I saw something on the good old Talk the Tick about the fact that someone said it's not about what you put on your body, it's what you put in your body. And I think sort of things like I've tried to lower all my ultra processed foods, and it's tiny tweaks, so I'm not making radical change, but I think I've recognized that there are certain self-care things you can do that aren't just about your the physical sort of treatments. It's like everything. It's self-care. Like there's different things you can do.
And the inside affects the outside. Do you know what I mean? Like you put the right stuff in, your skin will be more glowy, you'll get less breakouts, you'll feel fresher, you'll have better gut health, which will make you genuinely feel better.
Yeah. And I think that's where sort of I've recognized now, being at the age I am, that I've had it. It's almost like it's time. I'm ready now to kind of look at that stuff. And it's weird because before, we were saying about what do you spend that 30 quid on, what do you spend that couple of 100 quid on? And, you, when you were younger, you were absolutely kind of set on the lymphatic drainage and stuff like that. Whereas
not that it done anything, I must add.
But then it's weird because I just never, I was so motivated about having fun. I never thought about myself. Like I never thought about and this is what's so curious. I worked in retail. I worked in high jewelry where you had to look good. Like I did fashion at uni, like all these things that would have naturally played in to me thinking about my physical sort of appearance and investing in that. Not at all. It's really interesting that it's taken this long for me to get to that stage going, okay, what should I be doing now?
But some people, and I said this to you earlier, are naturally blessed. Like you have very fresh skin. You don't you look like you've aged very well.
Thank you, darling.
All that water. But something to be sure, like
my
nan honestly says to me all of the time that I've never used all of those products. Like I just use basic, like literally like soap and water. Sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't use the soap.
It's literally just water. But I also don't think you need to go to the extreme a lot of the time. It's just, basic is sometimes best. It's just being consistent.
That's the word. And I think that's what you said earlier to me before we started, was that, it's about building it into the routine and being consistent. So it's constantly sort of the same thing, and you're not like, suddenly exposing your skin to loads of different things and then suddenly taking it away. So your skin's like, what did you just do?
Yeah.
What was that?
Because that will cause it to freak out, like the constant change. Like just do something which is consistent. Like if you're not going to be able to sustain high-end beauty products that have all of the ingredients in, then don't. Most of the products on the market will have like 2 or 3 core ingredients in them, and that's it. That's what you need.
And I genuinely feel as well that there's such a broad spectrum of things that, you can do to invest in yourself and have that self-care. Because obviously, we've talked a lot about self-care as in time.
Yes.
Giving yourself time. But then this is like another level. This is what you do in that time, I suppose. And it's really interesting because I think when you're talking about Botox and like avoidance and things like that, so that you're avoiding doing your life. So one of the things I have, because I live with chronic anxiety, is I'm a finger biter.
Yeah.
And this, I don't know if I've said this before. I am a nose picker.
Yeah. Okay.
So I pick around my nose like that. I just constantly pick my nose. And it's not like,
the skin around.
3-year-old, like, catch the latest booger. But no, it's like, I literally, like, I'm constant. I've probably done it on the podcast. And I just can't, and I get like, little spots break out around my nose because I'm just, it's an anxious thing. And when I get my nails done, my nose is better and my fingers are better. It's so bizarre. Like, it all stops when my nails are done.
Yes. But I can relate.
Do you have the same thing?
When I've got when I have nails on, I am less inclined to pick the skin around my finger. If I don't have nails on, pick. Yeah. So sometimes I've got to pay the money to have my nails done or do my nails myself to protect my skin. And what makes me laugh the most out of all of this is we're here talking about what we're investing or whatever. Men, on the other hand, literally look at a drop of water and have radiant glowing skin all of the time. Like, I don't understand. Like, Rory, I don't even think he moisturizes. And I remember about 15 years ago when we first met and he told me that he's never moisturized a day in his life. He's probably only moisturized 5 days in those 15 years. I just said to him, no, you're going to end up looking like a leather handbag at some point. Like, how do you not moisturize your skin? So I just don't like, they just don't think, not everyone, because I know a lot of men have routines as well, but the majority of men do not go through the same things that we go through, but they look fine.
Fine, though, I think is the word. And I don't know, did you ever watch Clueless with Alicia Silverstone?
Oh, I think I did, yeah.
Perfect phrase in that for this. Sometimes men can be like Monets. Like, from a distance, they look fine, they look great. But when you get up to those rough heels and you get up to those dry knuckles, from a distance, but like, Monet up front, all messy.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do you know what I mean?
And I have sometimes approached Rory with my
attacking it.
Yeah, like I've got one of those little like sucker things that does like extraction, like pore extraction, like on your nose. And I've got to him like, please let me get out those blackheads. He's like, no, Erin, you've literally got a bruise on your face from where you've just been using it. You're not coming near me with that. And I'm like, but please let me come near you. Or do you want to do a face mask? Like, do you want to do?
Would he do one?
With some persuasion, perhaps.
See, Lawrence, bless his heart, he is desperate to do saunas, spa days, like treatments, all that kind of. He totally would go get his feet done, but he doesn't want to do it by himself.
Yeah, fine.
And I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to do that. Like, it's not a splash of water in my face. What's the point? So he needs to find a buddy. So maybe we'll get Rory and him going to the spa together, getting their pedicures done.
Yeah, well, I'm all for that.
It gives us the time to drink a little bit more wine.
I love this, and I'm actually really looking forward to revisiting this conversation in another few months after you've got on your
investment.
See how your supplements.
And I think this is one for the listeners as well. I'd be really interested to hear what your tweakments were. Like, what do you prefer doing? What do you not like? Have you got any advice or any anything that you do that sort of us in our 30s and 40s we should be thinking about,
And what's prompted you to do it? Like, what's the reason behind it? Have you felt really bad about something, or have you felt encouraged or influenced or something like that?
Definitely.
We love hearing your feedback and having these conversations, and always open to the messages. We've had a few messages recently, which is really nice, of people sharing some ideas and thoughts and opinions. So if you've got any things that you want us to chat about, please let us know. And if you haven't already, then please make sure that you've subscribed, followed, liked, and all of those fun
reviewed.
Things. Reviewed. That's a big one, guys. Please review, because then if you review, it pushes it out to everybody else, and we can help to grow grow this little podcast family that we've got.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, love this little group.
I'm so glad we finally did this.
Yeah.
Because this has been, and it's weird, isn't it? Because we kept saying we're not ready to do that one yet. And tonight we've done it. And I'm really pleased we have, because that was great. And who knows, I might just be, coming back looking fresher faced.
Fresher. Well, love that one.
Oh, love you, babe.
Right. Cheers.